Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Season 2 of our podcast, Law That Leads. I'm very excited to have Michael with us here today from Modern Controller. He is an entrepreneurial accountant with a passion for growing businesses. His foundational skill set has allowed him to fulfill that passion in accounting. He's been in the industry since 2018 and running his own firm since 2021. When he's not working, he's riding his bike or enjoying time with his partner, Tess. Without further ado, please let's welcome Michael. Hello, Michael. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me and Paula.
We're very excited to talk to you about accounting.
Yeah, accounting is an exciting topic to talk about.
Well, I'm sure it is for you because you do this on a day-to-day basis.
There's a lot of things about accounting that I get excited about. There's some things I know are boring, and I don't sugarcoat those, but I'm sure we'll talk about the good stuff today.
Yes. So tell us, explain. I know there's different aspects of accounting, and math was never my forte. So please tell us more.
So luckily, math was my forte. That's what got me into it. And yeah, accounting, just like law, different accountants are good at different aspects of the role. So there's generalists that I consider myself to be. And then there's accountants that are specialists, and we definitely need both. And if you're growing a firm, you certainly need both to service your clients properly.
Yeah.
I think it's really good for clients to have a generalist accountant as their contact point, with a team of specialists underneath them that are niched out on different aspects of what their clients will need, that they can rely on as an available resource, depending on where a client's business is or what kind of transaction they're going through.
Exactly, and that's exactly what we do at ALF. We're a full service firm, and then we have associates or just industry professionals that work under the ALF umbrella to kind of bring that specialty that everybody needs. Like, for example, I know recently we were talking about immigration policy. We have a consultant on our team, and then there's a lawyer as well, or for tax purposes or things like that. So it always intersects, right?
Big time.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about the types of accounting there is. I know there's
sure.
the popular ones.
Yeah, so everyone knows, everyone thinks accountants know tax.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the no-brainer. So if you're an accountant and you have friends, they all think you can do their tax return. A lot of accountants can do tax. Our firm, of course, does. We do a lot of tax, but there's much more to accounting than just tax. For larger companies, there's accountants that are purely auditors. Some accountants are, and more of the generalist type, they'll be more of a business advisor and they know what a business needs. They won't necessarily know how to get into the details. There's, at a foundational level, bookkeeping. Now, you don't have to be an accountant to be a bookkeeper, but an accountant who is a bookkeeper certainly does a better job, and you end up paying a bit of a premium for it. But depending on the size of your business, it usually pays off in the long run. So, of course, there's budgetary constraints for any small business starting out, but
of course, it makes sense
to invest in a good bookkeeping service. And I'm not trying to toot our own horn because, of course, I run a bookkeeping firm, but it sets the foundation for any data analysis or financial analysis, tax planning. It all relies on the bookkeeping. So looking for a good bookkeeper is a really good step one for any small business.
I see. Yeah. Okay. I'm always interested to hear this. What are some of the horror stories you've seen?
Horror stories, like fixable horror stories, or horror stories?
Fixable. Well, you've provided a solution.
Almost always when clients come to us, they'll say it's because they haven't done their tax return yet, and the CRA is after them. So they'll show up and they'll say, hey.
So crisis mode.
Yeah, crisis mode. Hey, we're trying to get a loan. We haven't done our tax return yet. CRA says we're late by 2 years. And they need to close on this loan the next, whatever, it's usually yesterday. So it's like, all right, we can do your tax return, no problem. Send us your financials. Oh, we don't have those. Okay, send us your bank statements, send us your credit card statements. So the client will send us everything. We'll do a bookkeeping catch up and get them up to speed. Once the financials are built off the bookkeeping, we can file the tax returns, and that's usually step one when we meet a client, and there's always like some like crisis that gets fixed by just some sort of catch up. And when we first started our firm, we were just a bookkeeping firm.
Okay.
And people would come to us and they would always ask us to do their tax filing, and I'd refer them somewhere else, and we only do bookkeeping. And the reason we started offering tax services is because we realized as soon as we refer them out, we usually lose the opportunity to work with the client.
Right.
And the bookkeeping is a necessity that is not forced by like a CRA or some sort of compliance body.
I see.
So it's harder to convince someone that we're not just being salesmen or saleswomen. Like you actually do need bookkeeping.
Okay.
But you can't do that until you can do a tax return and say, okay, we need to do the bookkeeping and do your tax return.
I see. So they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, step one and step two, for sure.
Your website is pretty amazing, and
Thank you.
we've worked together before on. So you're known as the modern controller.
Sure. Yeah,
but for someone that is hearing that for the first time, what does that mean?
Yeah, I can dive into that a bit. So there's a layer between. Everyone knows what a CFO is. A CFO like guides a company from the top down.
Okay.
Bookkeeping is a foundational service that tracks the company's transactions, which is kind of like it's like a service from the bottom up. A controller. So I'm explaining where modern controller is going. A controller is that bridge between the bookkeeping and the CFO. So a controller provides oversight over the bookkeeping. They'll provide a monthly analysis on their cash flow, month-end adjustments, explain where the business is to the CEO or to the CFO. They're the manager of the accounting function, and they're bridging that bookkeeping to the CFO. So modern controller, the name modern controller came from that financial controller role, being broken down into a monthly recurring service. So we started off just doing monthly bookkeeping, and we actually used to be called monthly controller.
Okay.
Once we brought our clients, a few clients on in the bookkeeping world, we added a controller service, which started to provide clients that extra layer of financial service that they needed as their business started to grow. As I said before, we brought a tax partner on to handle some tax. We keep adding services that our clients need. And that's why I reached out to your firm not too long ago, a few months back. And a lot of our clients grew to the point that they were needing legal services more and more often. And I thought it would be a great idea to connect with a good firm that took a modern approach to their industry and give our clients an opportunity to work with someone similar to us.
Of course. And that's the part that I guess it's synergetic between our industries and our firms, especially with, this very well, you use our app and you see how we're doing things, and it's not the norm for law firms at all.
I think as your firm carries on, taking this modern approach to law, and your clients, who I imagine you have a diverse range of clients, but a lot of younger clients.
Sometimes.
Yeah. The younger clients, I imagine, are much quicker to take advantage of the app that you provide.
Yes.
And I think as they start to grow up and new clients come in, this is going to become the norm, and you guys are going to be leading the way. Our firm needs to develop an app like yours, I think, and like have a client portal that brings everything into one place for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's that for us, it was voicemails, or for certain
voicemails were killer.
Having to get back to voicemails or having to get back to emails, and then most of the time, you'll have a team of people that are outside of the firm. Like, for example, your firm.
Yeah.
So if we're working together for the same client, then we'd have to communicate with one another, potentially someone else, like however the case is going to be structured. In the app, all of us are in one WhatsApp chat.
Yeah.
So whenever someone is typing in, there's no need for me to call you and say, hey, here's the update, or call another person and say, we need to do this. It's all sort of done simultaneously in the same time. Everybody's in the same place. Yeah. Everybody can see whoever's typing what, and or sharing documents, or e-sign, or pressing a button to just have a meeting or have a call, rather than, hey, what's the phone number, or let me send a Zoom. Here's a Zoom link for 3:00.
Oh yeah, totally. It's like an integrated tech stack for your firm.
Yeah,
everything's
exactly.
in one place, and I'm sure your clients appreciate it. And as a service provider that you guys work with, and you've done some work for us too. We're a client,
Right.
So I've seen both sides of how the app works, and it's an awesome way to conduct business.
Yeah, thank you.
I also saw something online. You know how there's so many technologies that have been that exist. There's an app for everything, and there's an app for everything in between everything.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to develop an app that offers value. And I saw an article saying that the softwares that are integrating other softwares to make, because right now there's like, you can get something from something everywhere. So that's something like what your app does, that brings together, like you said, Zoom, DocuSign, signing engagement letters, communication, file sharing. It's all in one place. It's integrating all these services that are available through great apps separately. And that's a big value add for your firm and for clients.
I agree. And we always say this, when it comes to running a law firm, there's so many different softwares to do something, but we all wish there was one that just does it all.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet.
Not there yet. So I do know one very common software for law firms is called Clio. What's your take on Clio?
I used to use Clio previously. It's pretty great for payment services. It's pretty great for sending like a credit card link to the client, and they just pay for it, and then it goes directly to the trust account. So it minimizes a lot of the accounting services, but not necessarily the like document saving or linking it to Outlook so that all of your emails are saved into the file. Like it's
got it. I guess the only reason I know it is because as an accounting firm, we've worked with it because it's an accounting software for law firms.
Oh, okay,
so it doesn't offer that holistic stack of use cases, I guess is what you're saying.
And listen, it's been quite a long time. So Clio, if you want to reach out with your updates, that's okay. It's been quite a long time that I've used it. So I don't know if there's been improvements, but I don't want to say how many years ago, but back in the day, it was pretty great from that end, but that's all I remember that it was great for.
So I know a lot of clients that we work with, you mentioned crises that we have to deal with. I'm sure that you end up dealing with crises even more so than we do.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess you can't really share any stories on your side.
I've just been served with a document. I mean, we don't practice criminal law, but I guess the worst case scenario would be like, I'm in jail. Yeah. This is my one call. Don't hang up. But yeah, we get those calls all the time. I've just been served with a statement of claim, or I've been sent a lien letter. I don't know what to do, things like that.
Yeah. You guys have a tax lawyer here, I believe?
Yes, we do.
So I imagine where we would end up in crisis mode together is anything tax related where a client gets hit with some sort of outrageous tax balance that they owe, or a claim that something fraudulent went through in their corporation. So I imagine we'd end up working together on crises when it comes to your tax lawyer and our accounting firm. Whenever there's a outrageous tax claim that gets made, a CRA is asking our mutual client for a sum of money that they don't want to pay.
So I guess our shared point is that you're the modern controller, we're the modern law.
Yeah.
And in terms of the intersection, at the end of the day, even though we're in different industries, I guess the perfect combination for that is that we're offering a service to clients that is slowly on a monthly basis. They have this support on their side as they're starting their business. But it's sort of proper planning, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
I was speaking before about this step-by-step what clients need first. First, they come to you with a tax return, and then they realize they need bookkeeping. Then we start adding this modern controller service above that as their business grows, and they want to understand their cash flow and their financials. And then there's usually a step after that where they end up needing legal help. They might restructure. They might be switching from a proprietorship to a corporation. And that really is how you and I or our firm started working together. It's where you guys launched Modern Law.
Yes.
And with Modern Controller, that we can offer a subscription-based monthly service in a very synergistical way.
Yes. And then we avoid all the crisis calls.
Or we take them on together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for us, like for small business owners, as you said, it's pretty hefty bill. Like in the beginning, it's all bills. Yeah. So having to think about, paying a certain amount to draft an agreement, or paying a certain amount to enforce that agreement if something doesn't go the way that you want it to, instead of having that burden of those legal fees and all of that, this provides an opportunity to have that support on your side and then do it slowly, piece by piece.
Totally. Like turning my accountant brain on right now, it allows clients to budget and forecast their cash flow and their profit. Instead of getting hit with a legal bill for a few $1,000s to do a shareholders agreement that they didn't know they had to do because they're new to having partners in their business. They have a subscription model where they've been paying anywhere from, $300 a month, $1,000 a month, depending on the size of their business.
Exactly.
And there's no sudden big cash outflow when they need legal service. Exactly.
And it's also very important. Anissa and I we spoke at the Small Business Week for BDC, and that's exactly what we said. There's so many times where small businesses or people just starting out will say, I don't want to pay $1,000 to draft an agreement. I could just get it off of Google. I have a friend who hired a lawyer. They got an agreement. I'll just use theirs, all of that. And
the ChatGPT nightmare that
that
sounds
too,
very good.
That too. Yeah. So, then yes, you might be thinking, oh, I did great. I saved a couple thousands of dollars for myself. But what happens when you're trying to enforce that agreement and it's not properly drafted?
Yeah.
Now, not only you're in litigation because you're trying to enforce something, and that's going to cost you alone thousands of dollars, but then you might even be in a situation where your litigation is not successful because you have a poorly drafted agreement. So it's sort of working backwards, where people always think to call at the last minute to solve the problem that's been created, but there's a way to do it on a step-by-step basis, as you said, and minimizing that risk.
You don't want to know how much money you're saving by doing it.
Exactly.
Like a shareholders agreement. You could skip it if you wanted until you have a shareholder dispute.
Exactly.
And then it might cost you half your company.
Exactly.
Or more. And you don't want to go there. And I think it was Anissa who said it to me one time. It's when you build a shareholders agreement for your clients, you hope they never have to use it.
Exactly.
And often you don't, but it's at least there to fall back on. And I think that's like a lot of what you guys do for your clients is about, which is that's one key difference from accounting. Often what we're offering is more, I don't think tangible is the right word, but like a tax return is a tax return, and whether you like it or not, CRA is asking for it. The shareholders agreement, no one's asking for it, but a lot of what we hire lawyers for, our firm uses, when most businesses do, is you're doing it because it's a good idea, not necessarily because you have to. In some cases, there's compliance.
Right.
Yeah. But there's more cases in law than in accounting where there's things that are should do's, not must do's.
Exactly.
And you don't realize how bad you need it sometimes.
I agree.
Your firm's been around for a decade. There was a time that you were much smaller than you are now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, you have a lot of specialists in-house. And now, Modern Controller is younger than your firm. We're about half the age of your firm. We've started to build our team internally, but we still rely on consultants, basically on an external network that we've built over the last few years. And God bless our consultants. For example, we have a shred consultant that does scientific research and development tax refunds. He's not within our corporation, but he's a consultant that works for us, and he does a great job. I don't know what kind of viewers you have on this podcast, but I'm sure it's a lot of small business owners that for their own businesses, I imagine they need to lean on external consultants very often. When your firm started out, how did you guys approach that growth in terms of relying on people in your network that were not yet internal?
Honestly, I think, obviously I wasn't here for the early days.
Okay.
But now that, since I've joined, we have grown rapidly. We opened up an office in Dundas. Now we have an office in Ajax. So we're, expanding into the Durham region. It's not, for us, I think our main business model is always having happy clients that we take our time to do good work, and we just let our work speak for itself. And then we will always have return clients. For example, if they bought a house 5 years ago and they used our real estate team, they will come back if they want to rent it out and say, hey, I'm going to be renting it out, but I've heard horror stories, so should I use an extended lease agreement rather than your standardized one?
Yeah.
Or they want to open up a business, so they're coming back and saying, hey, what agreements do I have to have in place? Things like that. Or if something goes wrong, then litigation is here.
To be honest, we don't have any horror stories. I think you guys deal with a lot more fires. I know from I've had to call lawyers where I'm really grateful that they answer right away and have the time to take a meeting right away. Our firm, we've had urgent matters that need to get dealt with quickly. Often it's with our client base, often it's because they're trying to get a loan or satisfy some sort of investor due diligence, and they need information from us really quickly, whether that's filing a tax return or finishing a financial statement, mortgages that they're trying to close on, and they need their corporation to support it. But we don't have any horror stories to report on. That wouldn't be good. I think you guys have horror stories because you're you're firefighters.
We are. Yeah. I actually say that to people. I feel like a firefighter every day. I'm putting out fires all day long. It's so funny that you use those words, because when I use them and I say it, people will laugh, but I don't think they actually get it.
No, I get it. Just by being on the other side of it once or twice, it's nice to have someone that can move quickly.
Yes.
And I've seen your firm move quick.
Thank you. Well, that's the reason. It's the app. I swear. Imagine if, for example, with emails, there's going to be a certain time in the day you're not going to have your phone popping off every time.
Or if you get too many emails, you just can't keep up with them.
Right.
And then you'll lose, urgent ones may not, you'll miss them.
Yeah. So, or phone calls and voicemails, you might be in a meeting, you might be on another call. But if I'm on another call and I see a message pop up on the app, it's so much easier to just respond or to figure out what's going on the other side and then sort of prioritize from there.
Totally.
Than it is to check your email, check your phone, check your, it's...
Yeah, it's all over the map. I've made the mistake of switching communication from email to text message because it seems more convenient at the time with certain clients. And God bless it. It's I don't mind talking with clients in iMessage, but when you have communication on your iMessages and you have it in your email, it's hard to start to lose track. You have to keep them on red so you don't forget about them. It's nice to have everything in one place, so you don't accidentally let something slip through the cracks.
I agree. Well, Michael, thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having
me. We had a great conversation, and I hope people will reach out to you because I know you can provide a lot of solutions. So how can people do that?
You can find us just by Googling Modern Controller. We'll pop up. Our contact information's on there. And if you need bookkeeping, tax, fractional controllership, fractional CFO services, give us a ring, shoot us an email, and we'll definitely be able to help you out. And maybe we can help you out in combination with modern law.
Awesome.
This podcast is brought to you by ALF LLP. We hope you found today's discussion insightful and empowering. This is a kind reminder that our content is intended for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute as legal advice. Every situation is unique. So if you need legal support, we encourage you to book a consultation with one of our lawyers on our website, alfllp.ca. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others. For more engaging conversations, expert insights, and practical advice, follow us on social media at tag ALFLLP. That's where you can find our podcast, Law That Leads. Thanks again for listening, and more importantly, drive safe.